Heat stress occurs when the environmental heat load, that's what's going on around you, plus your metabolic heat load, that's you, exceeds your body's capacity to dissipate it. Simply the environmental heat load are all the things you already know about. It's the ambient temperature, the humidity, where the heat comes from, radiant heat. If you're outside in the sun, it's hotter than if you're in the shade. In a car, it's the heat that comes from the engine and the drivetrain. It has to do with air movement over your body and what you're wearing, what color, what texture, what fabric, and how it's layered. It's work to drive a car. Driving a racing car takes a lot more work because well, it depends on the car, but you may be sawing on the wheel, you're moving the pedals around, you're moving you around trying to stay in the seat, and that takes work, and that work generates heat. The main way that you get heat out of your system, how you get rid of your metabolic heat load, is through sweating. When sweat evaporates, it draws heat out of the system that it came from. 60% of your body weight is water. Your performance is directly related to your state of hydration. Okay, if you lose 2% of your body mass, that's 3 pints of water, and you start to have an increased core temperature with that. 3% is 4.5 pints, and you start having a loss of muscle endurance and strength over time. And you begin to enter the realm of heat illness, the risk goes up. At 4% loss, that's 6 pints of water, you'll start to have muscular cramps. In a race car especially, it's in your gastroc because you're constantly pointing your toe at something because you're pushing on it, or in your quad. At 6%, that's 1.5 gallons of water, you're gonna die. Okay, that's the simple answer. You might not do it quickly, but you're gonna. You have a 36% increase in error rate. Now, you're driving a car on a racetrack and you have to make corners and shifts, you're gonna miss 36% of those. You get lightheaded, faint, your pulse goes up, core temperature goes up, blood pressure starts to go down. That migrates into heat exhaustion, which is a core temperature up to 105, from 38, which is roughly 101, up to 40.5 degrees centigrade, which is 105. Now you get pale, you profusely sweat, you're thirsty, you can't pee, you get a headache, you actually get the chills. You know, you'd be chilling, you're burning up, nauseated, vomiting, vision starts to wane in and out, can become delirious, and if that continues, state of consciousness is altered, and you're on death's door. All right, so what do you do not to get there? Well, there are a couple of things. In the acute sense, one of the best ways to withdraw heat from your system is through your GI tract. The thing is, you have to get the fluid out of your stomach to rehydrate and to cool. And one of the best ways to do that is with a crushed ice drink. And all of you know, if you're really, really hot doing something and you just pick up a lukewarm something and drink it, it just sits in your stomach. You feel awful. Whereas something really cold, you'll just down it. Sodas are bad. Okay, kids, you listening? They're 26% sugar, and sugar stops gastric emptying. So kind of the ideal, you know, what's the ideal drink to have besides water to get electrolytes? Works. You take a G2 Gatorade and mix it 2-to-1 with water. 2 bottles of water, a bottle of Gatorade, and drink that throughout your period of activity that's dehydrating you. It's an excellent replacement.